You know, when you spend a lot of time writing your books, you become very attached to the characters. You develop a certain attitude towards them, you develop a certain relationship with them. They are real to you. Sometimes when I'm writing, I can't wait to get back to a certain manuscript because I'm having a lot of fun with these characters and it's like meeting back with old friends. Other times it's like being at a dinner party with some guests that have way overstayed their welcome. But either way, at some point, you're going to come to a decision that you have to make. Do I want to keep this character or do I want to get rid of them? And if I want to get rid of them, do I just want to send them off someplace? Or do I want to get rid of them? That's not an easy decision to make. You don't want to be too cavalier because, you've gotten your readers to develop relationships with these characters. And you don't know how strong their feelings and connections and relationship with these characters might be. As I found out, my very first novel, Dangerous Gambles, it was my first in the spy series. I had not written a book for years. And so I was really starting all over again. So it was brand new to me again. And I had all these characters, I had them in close proximity. I was developing a real connection and a bond with them, with all of them, because each one was going to be brought out to do X, Y, Z, and they were an intricate part, and it was, working together like a well-oiled machine. And I started noticing that one of the secondary characters was becoming a little more colorful, vibrant, developed than the main character. So I just tried focusing more on the main character. But one thing I realized is that this character didn't stay in the background very well. He was naturally where the main character was supposed to be, but he wasn't the main character. And no matter how I tried twisting the story around, I couldn't get rid of him. I couldn't get him to just go stay over there. So I came to a conclusion that he's got to go. But because he was one that everybody was so attached to, I just couldn't have him, storming off stage left in a snit. He had to go out with a bang, and he literally did, because he raced into this burning building to try and rescue somebody, and somebody went in after him, and it was this whole big crash when part of the burning roof caved in. And as they were turning around to make their escape, they look over and they see a hand sticking out of the rubble. And they call the fellow's name, and there's no answer. Perfect. Heart-wrenching, Wagnerian ending, worthy of that type of a character. I can now focus on the main one. No. The uproar that I got out of that. People called me. People stopped me on the street. People stopped me at parties. People texted me and emailed me, furious that I killed off that particular one. I felt like the author in the Stephen King novel Misery, only I wasn't tied to a bed with somebody swinging a sledgehammer at my ankles. But if anybody had gotten that chance, I'm sure they would have done it. So I didn't have a choice. I had to bring him back. And as I was sitting there struggling through that, I began having a lot more sympathy for people that write soap operas, that kill off a character, and then, the next season, ta-da, they showed up. They had been suffering from amnesia, and, were recovering in a sanitarium somewhere in Tahiti, or some other outlandish thing. You're dealing with soap operas, so you should be able to have all sorts of creative license. Theoretically, you should be able to do the same thing with a fiction book. Unfortunately, you do have to keep some grounding in the realm of reality. You can suspend belief, you cannot completely do away with it. And so I had to figure out a plausible explanation of how this character that they were pretty much convinced he was dead was actually alive. Fortunately, I did that, and I realized that he and the main character could be the perfect foils for one another. Holmes and Watson, Batman and Robin, King Arthur and Little John, that type of thing. But killing off a character, you've got to decide: is the story going to be better without them? I suppose you could be like George R. R. Martin or J.K. Rowling, and just kill them off as the mood takes you. But after a while, you get a little insensitized to it. If you look at John Le Carre, even Ian Fleming, the body count's pretty low in the books. But sometimes character has to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. When I realize that a character is going to have to go for the storyline, they're doing it for the greater good. Because, even a fictional character, they have some dignity, they have some meaning. They're not just one dimensional, just on a black and white sheet of paper. They're real to the readers, they're real to the writer, they're real to, people that encounter them. So be sparing, be merciful, but if you realize that that's the way you got to go, be bold.